a true giant in comedy, has died. I first learned about the passing of Dick Gregory about 2 hours ago, just before I saw the video from the brother BO9263. Shout out to him. He announced the passing of Dick Gregory on his channel. Details are not known as of yet as to what caused his demise. Dick Gregory was 84 years old. He died in Washington, D.C. He died tonight. According to social media, his son stated a week ago that he had been hospitalized. Now, I do recall it might have been, it was a long time ago. I'll just guess maybe it was like 2000 or something like that. Dick Gregory had been diagnosed with lymphoma, but it had been in remission. Dick Gregory, of course, is a person who does not believe in conventional medicine. He believes in healthy eating, healthy living, and whatever methods he used, he did go in remission. So I don't know whether his death is related to the lymphoma. I don't know. But Dick Gregory, as a comedian, was truly groundbreaking, and he was a forerunner to the more, I guess, intellectual comics that we have now. He kind of, in a way, was similar in style a little bit to Dave Chappelle. Dave can be a lot more vulgar. Dick Gregory really didn't swear in his routines, but he was more of an intellectual, and we really hadn't seen that in black comics at that time. You know, of course you had at that time the great comics like Moms Mabley and Red Fox, you know, but I wouldn't exactly call their comedy style intellectual. Not to say they weren't intelligent people, but Dick Gregory kind of was more of an observational comic who made very distinctive and oftentimes very witty observations about racism in this country. And he was also, like a Dave Chappelle, a black comic that had crossover appeal. We hadn't seen it at that particular time. And Dick Gregory was one of the first, actually, you know, I guess he was the last living original satire comic. Of course, at that time, you had guys like Lenny Bruce, and of course, the obvious Dick Gregory was the forerunner to the groundbreaking trailblazers such as a Bill Cosby, who's still great. I don't care what the hell he's accused of. He's still a legend in my book. And Richard Pryor. Now, I think the reason why Dick Gregory doesn't have the... He's very... Excuse me. I'm a little bit tired. He's very respected, but I don't know if he was ever truly beloved by the black community, and I think it has something to do with the fact that you could make the argument that his career was incomplete. In the early 1960s, Dick Gregory was on his way to megastardom. Also, by the way, when I was naming these comics, I also forgot to mention Godfrey Cambridge. Godfrey Cambridge is a forgotten comic, and Dick Gregory helped to spawn a Godfrey Cambridge, who's one of my favorite comedians ever. But Dick Gregory started off with a lot of commercial success. But what happened was Dick Gregory became incensed with social activism, and he changed. He became more radical. He became a very knowledgeable person. Many of you have probably watched a lot of his YouTube videos the last couple of years. You've seen this wispy old man Uh, Dick Gregory in his youth was a rather robust man. Through fasting, he went through very numerous fasts in his lifetime, oftentimes in protest, oftentimes just for health reasons. He was probably no more than 100 and 110 pounds most of the time. But he had a very robust mind. As he got older, he became more into, I guess you would call, conspiracy theories. I listened to a lot of his things. Some of the things he said I agree with. Some of the other things I wasn't so sure if I agree with him. But I respected his knowledge and the time and effort it took for him to research the material and things that he believed in. But as I said earlier, Dick Gregory became more into politics and social activism. He ran for president in 1968. Officially, he only got 47,000 votes. Dick Gregory insisted that he received well over 1 million write-in votes in that election. But because of his political views, because of his political activism and social activism, this hurt his career. And by the late 1970s, Dick Gregory really wasn't a regular comedian anymore, going around touring or booking shows or whatever. And he became more and more into the ills of trying to solve the ills of society, talking about the ills of society, talking about what's really going on in this country, the hidden hand of power, as he often would say, and I agree with that. The conspiracy theories on the assassination of John F. Kennedy, Dr. King, Robert Kennedy, John Lennon, 9/11. Dick Gregory talked about it all. And he was a very interesting person. I didn't agree with everything he said, but a lot of things he said made sense. And I reflect now on Dick Gregory, and I was really hating to see this day come. I think that the world was blessed to have this man grace the national scene for as long as he did. He's been part of the public consciousness for, I'd say, 55 years of his 84 years. And he was the first black guest on Tonight Show ever to sit down in the seat. He insisted that be done. Before him, black performers performed and then left. They weren't allowed to sit on the couch. Dick Gregory demanded if he was going to be on the show that he would sit next to Jack Parr, and that happened. And that's just reminiscent of Dick Gregory, the trailblazer, the inspiration, and one of the great comics of all time. Rest in peace, Dick Gregory.